Hi, everyone. It's nice to see you today. When you come on here, please put in chat that you're here, so I know that someone is here with me because you said some of you told me you were coming today, and I don't want to start until you get here. So um, I am excited about today because it's a subject that I think is so powerful. So, see, one of you is here. Please put in chat. Just say your name and I'll know that you're here. And we're going to talk about your nervous system today. So we're just going to wait a little bit more and start with that. I'm used to doing these things on a different platform where I can see you and and talk to you that way. So this is a new thing that we're working on and trying to make work for all of us together. So let me know you're here. Put in chat just that you're here. And when I know that all of you that said you were coming today are here, we'll get started. And I just want to talk about your nervous system. And so we'll just wait one more minute. I like to start things on time because, sometimes I'm not real good about ending on time. And but I am trying to be more respectful of everyone's time. So I guess we will start, and we're going to talk about. We've been talking about who we are, and who we really are is our neurology and the stories that you tell yourself about who you are. So, um, so our neurology is is this whole of all these different nerves, and we have unbelievable amount of them. But what we need to know first of all is our sympathetic nervous system and our parasympathetic nervous system. Now, the way that I remember it, your sympathetic nervous system is when um, when you're real anxious and it's that fight or flight. And so sympathetic, I feel sorry for somebody that is in that place where you're real nervous. Remember, if you have any questions, put them in chat. When you have any kind of that, if you see somebody that is in a real bunch of anxiety, they're having a panic attack, you feel sympathy for them. So remember, sympathetic. That's when you are feeling anxious. Now, this is found in your thoracic. You start to breathe different, and your lumbar. You don't feel safe. Remember, with your chakras, your lumbar is all about safety. Parasympathetic is your body just wants homeostasis. That's what our body wants. It just wants to be calm and everything just going along in harmony. That you feel in 3, 7, 9 up here, this whole part. And that is, fight or flight is sympathetic. Parasympathetic is rest and digest, feed and breed. So you think about the fact that um, your stomach, your sexual organs, all are on the bottom here, and that it's parasympathetic, a parachute. It's coming to help you, a parachute. You're sympathetic, you just feel out of control. There's nothing out there. Your parasympathetic is your parachute. It's saving you. Okay? And so that's a good way to always remember that. So we want to get into that parasympathetic resting time more. And so how it attaches on those areas of our body. Now, of course, we're going to talk about the king of all nerves, and that's the vagus nerve. When you think about it, this has not been talked about for a real long time. In fact, just a few years. We started talking about it when we were doing our yoga class. But this is what the vagal nerve is known for. It's the caretaker, the inner pharmacy, the master controller, the epicenter of your perceptions about everything. So the caretaker, the inner pharmacy, the master controller, epicenter, it's pretty important. It affects everything you think and do. It means if you're going to stay in sync and harmony, flow, all of those things have to do with the vagal nerve. So this is really an important piece. It's the second longest nerve. The first one is the sciatica nerve. That's like, think of that as pantyhose. It comes right from your butt down to the back of your legs. So the sciatic nerve is the longest nerve. That's pantyhose. But vagal nerve is second. Greek in in Greek it's called the wandering nerve because it goes everywhere. But it orchestrates 90 to 180 billion with a B neural reactions. It has to do with 50 trillion with a T trillion cells. So the vagal nerve is really, really important. We need to really figure that one out. We need to do everything we can to make that vagal nerve happy. It influences every hormonal response in every situations and every environment. It influences your thoughts, your habits, your mood, your memories, your feelings, your perceptions, and your balance. Your respirations, all your sensations, it all affects your vagal nerve. Hi guys, thank you for letting me know that you're here. So it does everything. It also it is in charge of like the chemicals that determine all these chemicals, these neurochemicals that determine the inflammation, what things taste like, your saliva, your digestion, your immune response, all of these things. It's really, really something. Now, I want you to think about this. Not only all those things that we don't think about so much, but your ear pressure. So if you feel out of balance, the mucus, if you have that post-nasal drip, your skin, anything like that, all vagal nerve. So I'm going to tell you exactly where this comes from. So it's way back here by the brain stem, okay? And it goes around from your brain stem down to the front, down the side of your neck. It affects your face, your tongue, your ears, your eyes, your neck, all of those places right when it's coming around here. Your throat, your voice box, your speech. Then it comes down to the right. It splits to the right and left part of your chest. And here it hits your heart, and then it divides and goes back to your spine too. One part back to your spine. It goes to your heart, your lungs, your liver, your pancreas. I've been hearing people calling me about that they have pancreatitis. This is your vagal nerve. Goes to your pancreas, your gallbladder, your diaphragm, your esophagus, your stomach, your kidneys, your bladder, your intestines, your gut, your reproduction. It's everywhere. And it comes around and it goes all the way. Yeah, Sandy, now I got something really good for you in just a minute. Um, so what we're going to do is first is we're going to do um, to balance the sympathetic and the parasympathetic. We're going to just stop, take a deep breath, and set the intention to be happy. You're going to imagine yourself just for a minute 100% happy. You straighten up and you breathe a big juicy breath and you say something nice to yourself. That's how we're going to start. Now, when you think of all these places that it goes, I want you to think about, don't even tell me that I didn't bring that part in. I am going to leave for just a second because I had something really good to share with you, and I walked away without the things, and I want to get it right away. Okay, I'm back. I had sat up working on this last night, and this one part I put in another part, and it is such a cool thing that I read about the other day, and it's Sandy. It made me think of you because you always say that you feel a little off balance, and what it is that about rocking chairs. They're putting rocking chairs in more and more in hospitals, more and more um, in dementia units, more and more in so many places that they're putting rocking chairs, and they've been doing a lot of research on them about why they're so important with babies, and they're finding great stuff. So listen to what rocking chairs can do. This is the latest research out there, and it's called it releases endorphins, good things, improves your mood, probably because of the endorphins, lowers pain, increases blood flow and the oxygen level to your joints. So it helps with flexibility in your knees. Rocking increases a deeper sleep. It actually uses calories. It's emotional, psychological well being. It lowers anxiety and depression. It increases, now, this is the important part. This is the part that I think is extremely exciting, is it increases your balance because it stimulates a mechanism in your inner ear, moving you from that sympathetic to parasympathetic because it's calming your brain. It stimulates the vestibular system, which helps regulate your balance, your emotional balance, your physical balance. So it really stimulates the inner ear and that vagal nerve that goes to the inner ear. Um, it it helps with spatial orientation, and it shifts us out of that anxiety loop. So something as easy as, if you have a rocking chair, start to use it, start to rock, because that is so amazing. Yes, Sandy's asking if you can just rock back and forth. Will it work the same? It might, but the thing is, you're not relaxing as much. I'm sure it can help some, but I would look for a rocking chair. That place on 82 that sells they get, it's kind of like I don't know what you would call it, but they sell furniture from different places. I would look for that. I would start looking at garage sales and things like that, because when you're sitting in a rocking chair, you're relaxing. You can read, you can watch TV, whatever. Where when you're standing up, you're mindfully rocking, but you're still using more, I don't know. Um, okay, that place is on 82, just before B. So that's a good thing. Now here are some other things that you good job, Rose, that's rocking right now. Um, Here are some of the other things. Your automatic nervous system, remember that's both sides, sympathetic and parasympathetic. We never think about it. We don't have to think about it because it's dealing with all of our inner, all the things that takes care of things. So its primary function is homeostasis. It just is takes care of our internal environment. But the vagal nerve, because it's the wandering nerve, goes to all the organs, all the cells, goes everywhere. Um, Now, think of what it deals with: the digestion, the metabolism, the urination, the bowels, the blood pressure, our sexual response, our body temperature, our heartbeat, our breathing rate, the fluid balance in our bodies, um, the vestibular, we talked about that, our balance. Uh, so, all those things it helps with. So, what we got to think of is we can do other things too. We can take a wave breath. That wave breath, I'm hoping that you remember that, where you put your hand on your belly and your hand on your chest, and you breathe back and forth. Hi, Sue, back and forth, chest and belly. Exercising helps move us into that parasympathetic. Some people use a weighted blanket, and that works good for some people. Meditating, giving yourself a hug or a massage, that tends to work. So you can hug yourself like this, massage your arms, your legs, um, grounding your feet on the ground. I can hardly wait to be able to go barefoot. Anytime you're out with nature, now we can go out to the trees, just put our hands on the trees. If you've been on to one of my classes where we start working with energy, you can feel it, you can see it from a tree the easiest. So we really have a connection that way. Um, Cold, wash putting cold water on her face, a cold shower, that will move you from one to the other. Sleep really does it. Singing like Liz, if you've got a jukebox in your head. um, humming, think of your vagal nerve because it comes from that part of our head. So just like the deep limbic, when you're thinking of the vagal nerve, think of young, think of when you're a kid and you like that moving. So for qigong, tai chi, they always say shaking, shake it out, shake it out. So that's one of the things. It likes that feeling. It likes humming when you can really hum, so you can feel it in your chest. Laughing, that deep, deep laughing. That's one of the things. Um, Tapping. And so I really want to tell you a little bit about the tapping thing here, and then I want you to try one thing. Um, the tapping, we're talking about meridians too with the tapping, and so I kind of wanted to wait with that a little bit, but I think it's an important thing that we start with it. One of the things that you want to know about nerves is that when they wire together, they fire together. So when you can think of one thing, like say, I always to take uh, one of my medications that I take it right after my bath, so it's right by my bathtub. Now I I take a bath and I get that. So when you do two things together that you can make them fit together, that you're wiring it together. Okay, so then they fire together. So you do the one thing and all of you think of the other one. So we're going to tap. We start with a karate chop, it's called, right here, because right here is the meridian for the small intestine. So we here. Then up to the top of your head, that's the governing vessel, meridian, and that comes down the back of your legs, the whole thing. And then that one, and then the eyebrows, these are your bladder ones, the side of your eyes, your stomach ones, underneath your eye, your kidney. Um, then under the nose is the governing, and under the chin is the central. That's why it feels so good to kiss, because you're attaching your central and your governing. It's like a battery, two batteries coming together. Your collarbone, your kidney again, and under your arm, your spleen. And so you're going to think of some kind of issue that you're thinking about, and you start tapping on that. You just, whatever comes into your mind, you tap, 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 and thinking of how much that affects you. Maybe it's a 10, and you keep tapping until it comes down to a 3. And so we'll work on that more. But what you can do is you can tap usually about 7 times, but you can tap just to move the energy on those things. So you can tap. You don't have to do it on a certain specific thing unless you're working on that. But you can just say, I'm getting stronger every day. I'm happier every day. I'm finding more joy. I see. I'm excited about spring coming. You just, whatever pops into your head, you tap on that to move that energy, because our meridians are our electrical system. Now, I have one more thing that I would like you to do, and that is think of something that's upsetting. Just think of something that's upsetting. You got that? Okay. Now, I want you to flip your hands over like this, like you're receiving a gift. Okay? Take a breath and see if you're feeling a little better. The reason for that is when you flip your hands up, your shoulders automatically rotate back. Your rib cage expands. Your neck readjusts itself. Your breath, you tend to look forward more. You breathe easier. That's the opposite of when you are feeling sad or upset, you contract everything. With palmistry, you notice that when a person is getting close to death, their hands will start to close up. And or when a baby is just born, their hands will be closed because it's like not opened up yet. Everything's not opened up. Hopefully, you open up more and more every day. You find more joy. So when you're thinking about it, flip your hands up. Feel your shoulders go back. Take a deep breath. Feel your rib cage expands. Your neck kind of just readjusts itself. So what I am wondering is when you start working on all of these different things, do you want, and you can text me later if you'd like, or you can just put it in the chat right now, for next week, I can tell you more things about the vagal nerve, as far as not all this is the information about the vagal nerve. I'm not going to go over that again, but more of these little tricks. I have a wonderful, wonderful mentor that's written a book about the vagal nerve. And so I can give you more of those things for a half hour. Or we can move on to mindfulness or meridians or something like that. Let me know what you'd like. and we will do whichever the majority of you like. Yes, Elizabeth, more vagal nerve. So just put vagal if you want more vagal nerve stuff. Um, I'm hoping that this was clear this time, not like last time. I just think the vagal nerve is so important. It really, I think that there's so much that we can do to make it happy. And we really want our vagal nerve to be happy. And so that will be good. And I hope you all have a wonderful day. We'll be continuing these things until I can get out and play in the dirt. And because this is pretty much that we wanted to be able to get through the winter, and I think we're almost there. Next week, not next week, the next week, we'll actually have spring. We'll be starting, and so that's what we were hoping for. And I will get to play in the dirt, and in see May we'll pick a date, but in May we'll start our movement class, our yoga class. It doesn't matter where you are. You know, yeah, Sandy, well, on that warm day, I did go out, but I did put socks on, heavy socks, because I knew otherwise Jim would have a holy fit. But I did put heavy socks on, but I did have to step onto the earth a little bit. And so it's going to be good. Right now, I'm thinking if it's good for everybody, probably Wednesday. Let me know how that works for you with our movement class if you want to be a part of it. Sue, I know you've had some health issues, but we're really not that vigorous. You're surely welcome to come for that. But so we will look at that and see, but kind of see who can come on Wednesday mornings. So that is what I have for you for today, the beginning of this, and it looks like that everybody is kind of thinking that, or some of you are thinking the vagal nerve, and because I think it's so important, I think that's what next week will be. So the end of next week, I'll let you know if I think it'll be Thursday, but I have to check on one little thing, Thursday or Friday. It'll be next week. I'll let you know. I'll post in our little group. Um, Thank you very much for sharing your time with me today. And I hope that you are going to help your 180 trillion cells be healthier today by making your vagal nerve happy. So remember, hum and sing a little bit and do all of those good things. Okay, bye bye, everybody. Have a good day.